Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on July 11th, 2022 at approximately 6:38 a.m. PST. Well, today started off with one heck of a bang. As I've mentioned many times before, get an idea in your head. Okay, because what you're feeling, what you're thinking, feeling, and how your body is working is all interconnected. Okay, it is really time for us to work together. I came back to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind everyone in existence that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. The key is going to be you altering your life so you're content with it. Okay, now remember, I only work with three laws. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Energy out, energy in. Okay, now compare those to all the laws and all the guidelines you personally follow, and I do believe you'll find every one of the ones you follow fit into the three that I follow. Okay, the advantage I have there is I've only got three to remember. But this whole idea of working together. Now, I have no question about my ability to write. Okay, one of my long-standing goals has been to get the Yldrbac Chronicles written. It was originally written. The original storyline was written under the title Ernath. Okay, which by the way is also referenced in the original books, in the books as they're coming out. But okay, much as I've got no question about my capacity to write, okay, some people like it, some people don't. That's fine. It's kind of like some people like what I say, some people don't. I've had both sides. Okay, I'm not here to convince people of much of anything, but I will tell you this. The path that society is running down right now, with the new and creative ways people have come to isolate themselves and to separate themselves from other people, is absolutely astounding. But the problem is, it's going down the same road that it went down 2,000 years ago, well, 1,700 years ago in Rome. Okay, it completely collapsed, and look where that led us. We're heading down the same road with the maneuvers that people are pulling. And I will not blame the so-called elite. I will not blame the government. I'm not going to even blame the religious community, because every member of all of those groups are theoretically human. Okay. Now, the reality of it is I'm not going to go and do genetic testing to find out anybody's origin. But what I am going to tell you is with what I've seen on social media and with what I've seen in dealing with people, the responsibility lies squarely on the shoulders of the members of society. Okay, not every one of you. I'm still a very firm believer that 9 to 95% of people are decent people, really striving to make this world a better place. The sad part is the real complicated people, the ones that are in the control positions, are not following what I consider rational paths. Okay, when you're making laws, they've got to apply to everybody. Now, before I go down a really odd tangent, there's something very exciting that I wanted to share with you. Okay, I've already got, as you've seen before, with the Yldrbac Chronicles, I've already got, where are we? Birth of the Wolf Pack and the End of an Epoch out. Okay, now they're available on Amazon or directly through me. There are some differences with the ones on Amazon as compared to directly through me, but the ones on Amazon are a whole lot less expensive. Okay, but then they're not signed, first of all. And here's the other difference. This book here, this is the one that comes off Amazon. Okay, this is one that comes from Author House and Amazon, Author House, Amazon, Barnes and Noble. This is what you're looking at. Now, you'll notice that when we look at the two, there's a slight difference in size. Okay, it's all the same book. Okay, the other big difference is when you turn them over, you'll notice that there's a black border around the one on Amazon. Okay. This one runs right to the border, and there's a reason for that is because the ones that come directly from me, when we take a look at the back of the when we look at the end of an epoch, and you turn it around backwards, then you line them up together, and they complete a picture. Now there's 12 books in all. Okay. Now the thing that I was very excited to find out this morning is like book 12, I've already got the cover and the artwork done for. And no, I can't show you because it's not in print. It'll be going into print later this year or very early next year. Okay, but with that in mind, okay, I just got handed the artwork, the cover, the first draft of the cover artwork for the next one coming out, which will be quite literally the first book at the where everything, well, it'll be titled as you can well imagine where it all began. Okay. And with that in mind, I just got handed the cover work for it. The artwork, in my opinion, is absolutely stunning. Okay. And that's just the first draft, so I don't know what he's going to come up with for enhancements, but to me it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm quite pleased with what he's done. So, for me, that's great. That came in. So, I mean, my energy's running a little off. That was a great way to start the day off. Because it came in, I got the artwork in, got the invoice in, and I was actually in a position where the invoice came in. I never even thought about it. I just went to the site and paid the invoice. Okay. For somebody that has lived on the edge of poverty my entire life, this is a remarkable feeling. And I will tell you, and this is going to sound boastful, but that's okay. With the tools that I've been using, it's taken a while. I am not trained as a financial advisor, but I can tell you the tools that I have used, okay, have taken me from that point to my current position. Okay. Now, it's because of that I am now in, well, people usually say, the normal consensus is people that get a windfall, the average outcome is within 3 years of that person getting the windfall, they're in worse shape than they were before they got the windfall. In my case, this is not the case. This is not the issue. Okay, I'm actually in better shape now than I have been in my life. Right. Well, when the windfall came in, when my mom's estate came in, I ended up clearing off a whole pile of debt. Okay, so that windfall, but I did learn from what I was doing. Now, the other neat little key here is, like last month was expensive. You think about it, I went from one paycheck away from living on the street with the help and with the guidance of other people. Okay, I've got a phenomenal editor helping me with getting the next books out. Okay, so that's progressing nicely. And I've got this 40-year reunion that I didn't actually think I was going to be able to make. Okay, matter of fact, come to think of it, I've got to take those and get those onto the camera. I should get that marked. I want to take the cover work, the pictures of the cover work with me because I've got a 40-year reunion coming up. That is in a couple of weeks. And while I'm on the reunion, I won't have my computer with me. So, right ahead of time, I'm flying out on the 28th. So, 28th to the 31st. I may get one done on the 31st, but it'll be real late. But it's more likely I'll get one, and I'll be gone from the 28th to the 1st, and won't put it back on until the 1st, because I'm not doing the journey at like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm not likely to be up at that point, but we'll see. That might happen too. What do we got here? Ouch. What do we got? Yeah, need that. And what do we have here? Just making a note to make sure I get the cover art moved to the phone. This way, I can take it with me and show the people at my reunion what I've managed to accomplish. Okay, now, to many people, it's like, well, why are you doing that? Well, let's face it, I'm going to a reunion. Might as well show people where we've gotten to. Especially when you think that I told people when I was graduating I was going to end up publishing. Okay. And this is why I say, if you've got a goal, even if you put it on hold for a while. I wrote the storyline to the Yldrbac Chronicles when I was in grade 10. Everything got put on hold. Okay, I worked on it periodically, but it's only been since I think 2017 is when I really started working at it. And I've got 2 of the books out. Right, I've got 2 of the books in print, of the Chronicles in print, but I've got 4 others in print. I'll have the other one out, another book in print pretty quick here. Clearly, I have an interesting problem. Okay, marketing is not my strong suit. I'm still working on that. But am I happy with the progress I'm making on the writing side of it? Yes. Ended up having a little bit of an upswing in my weight. Okay. And but that's coming down again. I'm still well under where I was. I mean, I was at 245, 246 was the worst I got to. 246 pounds. Right, I'd gotten down to just under 202. Went back up, never broke the 210 mark. As a matter of fact, I think I only hit 28. But I am on the downhill swing again. This morning I was back down to 2044. Okay, now, the reason like I said, you have to work with people around you. It's going to require, no person is an island unto themselves. No individual is, because we're all interconnected. Okay, and if you take a look at it, I start the day off with that kind of a jump. I'm likely to be pretty productive today. Okay. Oh, yesterday, when I was doing my editing on the Return to Paradise on the 3rd book. Okay, I went through 30. No, I think another. I think it was 20 some pages that I went through to make sure that they were where I desired them to be before we get into the editing. So the storyline is solid. I'm over halfway through writing it, and I'll just continue from this point forward. But it all locks together. I mean, if you think about it, I got up this morning, and like I've told you, the first job and the first task that you've got, the first barrier anybody has, is get out of bed. Okay, so you get out of bed first thing in the morning, and this is where this little book comes in. Nope, not that one. This one. Okay, this little book here. Okay, that is literally the backbone of how I how I turned my life around. Okay, and that's called Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams. And as it tells you in that book, and it's just a tiny thing, right? But it's not big, complicated steps to change the way your life is going. It's very simple, usable by literally anybody. Okay, I shouldn't say anybody. There's some that may not be able to. Okay, but on the whole, for the massive majority of people, it works like a charm if you use the tools. Okay, now when you've got a project, when you've got a goal to reach, absolutely be sure to talk to someone who has done so successfully. Now, this is why when I take a look at the writing side, I can tell you this is how to do it. I am not a master writer. Okay, I am not a master artist. I don't have a master class because I don't consider myself a master. I am still learning in leaps and bounds. Massive things that I've got to correct. Okay, but my intention is to do exactly the opposite of what I see happen with so many storylines, where they tend to taper off, they lose their steam as you're going along, and there's just a problem with that in my eyes. As an author, I desire to be better and better as I go along. Okay, so when you've got a goal in mind, talk to somebody that has done it successfully. Now, I can't tell you how to live on the street. Never been there, thankfully. Never intend to be there. In all fairness, I don't think anybody intends to be there. Okay, but the fact that I woke up this morning with that kind of nice little start, I got up, got what I needed to do in the washroom done, got my bed and got my exercises done, got dressed and what have you. Come up front and find that on my monitor, on my computer, just phenomenal start to the day. Okay, so now what I'm looking at, and I hope, yeah, we're still recording. Good. I thought I'd shut the recording off. That would have really annoyed me. But this is a live recording, so any hiccups, any twists that happen to come up, you're going to end up seeing them. Okay, because as soon as I get done the video, I simply double check to make sure the date is right and then post it as is. Okay, now with that in mind, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up and do subscribe to the channel, as we are striving to get this message out to everyone in existence, not just the people that have technology. Okay, because quite frankly, technology is overrated. Don't get me wrong. If we didn't have technology, I wouldn't be doing this. But your number one best method of interacting with people, even for those of us that prefer to stay reclusive, the best method is still face to face. Okay. Now, you think about it. I've had some pretty serious health annoyances, as you have, but the thing that's kept me going is I'm not giving in. I'm not quitting. Okay. My parents instilled in me a very firm belief that the one line of the poem, and the poem is can't. Okay. From what my father told me, and I don't know if it's recorded anywhere, but from what my father told me, the poem was originally written by an actor by the name of Danny Thomas, who wrote it for his daughter. Now, I don't know what it says on the internet. I've never looked for Danny Thomas's version. What I do know is the line that I always remembered was "can't is a word that is foe to ambition." Okay, and I've always held that ever since it got drilled into my head when I was a kid. Okay, net result, I ended up with a heart attack, and that was annoyingly painful. Okay, but I would rather have a heart attack than a stroke any day. I've had both. Okay, not interested in a stroke again. But the reality is, I've taken my health from where it was, and I'm in better shape now than I was 15 years ago. So again, this concept that as you get older, your body will break down. It probably will. But I will tell you, from my standpoint, the belief that I can override it and put it back together is why my weight is down, my eyesight, at least in my opinion, not according to the doctors, but the reality of it is I don't have as far vision as I don't have good vision for distance for driving. Okay, I picked up a new set of glasses for that. But for close condition, I don't wear my glasses much around the house at all anymore. Okay, I keep this set here because I don't read the printing at the bottom where the timer is. I can't see it without my glasses on. Okay, which is why I keep them handy, because the monitor I still can't see properly. I presume if I were to take this picture and put it over here, I could probably do so. But then you'd be looking at the side of my ear. So I don't see the point of that. When I had the stroke, I shut my left side down. There was no way I was going to give in to that. I talked to one person that had a stroke, and they had a stroke 2 years before I did. And last year, they turned around and said, I've reached a point I've just got to accept that this is as far as I'm going to heal. In my eyes, that's not acceptable for me. That's fine for him. Okay, but it is not an acceptable outlook for myself. So I will end up getting everything back, getting back to being able to read or to write with my left hand. My left hand I couldn't pick a coffee cup up with when I had the stroke. Well, in all fairness, I couldn't open the hand. Okay, when I had the stroke, it shut it down to the point that my hand was pretty much closed like this. And then I had to work to get it open. Well, at this point, I'm actually able to work with it a little. I still have to work with it. I still am. But it takes a couple of things. In order to be successful, what you consider successful, first and foremost, you're going to have a purpose. Why are you doing it? Okay. And I'll tell you, the doctor's telling you you have to stop doing this or you're going to die. I got good news for you. You're going to die anyway. Doesn't matter what you do, you're going to die. Dying is easy. I've done it several times. Living is the challenge. Okay. So the thing is, you can be told by whoever what is necessary until you get that heartfelt imperative. You're not likely to do what you have to. Okay, what is necessary. Now, with that in mind, get all the encouragement you can from whoever you can. There are many of you there are a staggering number of you that go to churches, temples, covens, okay, to get that emotional support. Some of you go to things like AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, okay, which I find interesting. Because my understanding is the first thing they do when you go into Alcoholics Anonymous is ask you your name. Now, I'm not quite certain how that works out as anonymous, but I'm not knocking the group. They've done some phenomenal work to help people cope with their illness. I will tell you right now, I used to drink a 26er a night. Okay, now, and if somebody offered me a drink, it was absolutely I'm taking it. There was no question around it. But I got myself to a point now where it takes me a decade with help and I don't mean help in stopping me from drinking it, I mean help drinking it to finish off a 26er now. That's a heck of a drop. But I'm a firm believer that there are two types of alcoholics. Now, most people are taught that there is alcoholics and there are recovering alcoholics. Okay, I'm not recovering. Okay, I'm a firm believer that there are alcoholics and there are recovered alcoholics. Because, don't get me wrong, I absolutely support the concept of Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous, amongst many other organizations. Okay, not that I donate money to them, but I absolutely support the concept because they offer, in my eyes, a fantastic coping mechanism. Okay, they do a wonderful job from that end. But, and this is why I say, working with these people, working with teachers that actually teach. Okay, and there's a lot of people that claim to be teachers. A lot of people that claim to be spiritual guides, and I'm looking at them going, how can you qualify that? When I look at the spiritual guides out there that are telling you you've got to fear everything, this doesn't work. Okay, who you call God, what name you call God by, that's up to you. Okay, there are many different ways of learning. And if you take a look at it, some people learn by optics, some learn by hearing, some learn by reading, some learn by doing. Okay, When you combine all of those methods, okay, and you teach with a unified form, you will be amazed how much faster people will learn. Now, the misconception seems to be if you know too much, you can't be controlled, which is, that's not really a misconception. The more you know, the harder it is to control you. But the trick to it is to realize, as I did, quite frankly, that the more you know, the less you know. And the way that works is the more you know, the more doors open and the more you realize is out there that you haven't figured out. Okay. I also have come to the conclusion that I only know just enough to know that I don't know enough. Okay. I've been playing around with the idea if I can squeeze a little bit more time out of my day. Good luck with that. Um, that was to me, not to you. I've been seriously considering looking into learning a second language, simply to keep my mind working properly. Because the logic behind it is this: what they discovered was people that speak more than one language they tend to avoid things like mental degradation, Alzheimer's, senility, this sort of thing. Because with the mind working, and I don't mean staring at the idiot box. Okay, I like that term. They came out with it in 1956, as I recall, referring to the television. Well, I'll tell you, I usually refer to things like the idiot box, the the one-eyed monsters, which are your computers, and the pocket morons. These little handheld games that you stare at. Now they're all great tools. Okay, when we take a look at that, they're all fantastic tools. They really are. Okay, when we take a look at this whole idea of working together, you take a look at the metaphysical societies. Okay, the healing by touch, your Reiki masters, you take a look at reflexologists, take a look at your surgeons, your doctors, holistic medicine. These are all little keyholes into the way the world works. When you work at that, okay, when you put all of that together, you take a look at what society has pulled off already. Okay. Now imagine what happens when we unify all that and start working together with it. Now, on that note, I'm going to let you go. I will be back again. And until then, take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.